to talk about anxiety. I haven't really talked about anxiety for a long time, so I wanted to talk about it. I want to give you guys an update on what's going on and what I've developed. So, over the years, I've had these high blood pressure attacks. I've had these panic attacks and high heart rate, high blood pressure, high pulse rate. So, um, I'll give you kind of an explanation of what's going on. So, I developed an anxiety disorder in 2007. I started taking medication for it in 2007. I have been suffering for many, many, many years. But now, the generalized anxiety that I have been experiencing is destroying my body. A doctor a couple of months ago told me your stress is killing your body. It literally is killing me. Not necessarily physically, but it's destroying my skin. It's destroying my hair. My hair is not growing very fast. And it is just ridiculous on what this anxiety has done. By the way, guys, I got some genetic testing done, and I am predispositioned to a semi-permanent anxiety that my mom side of the family had. So unfortunately, I am predispositioned to a permanent state of anxiety for my whole life until my heart stops, which is annoying. My mom had anxiety disorder. So this is more of a hereditary problem than it is a physical problem because it came out of nowhere one day and it just hasn't let up since. So the doctor recommended that I keep taking my medication as prescribed, which I do. But the downside to the anxiety is, let me just explain. The downside is the stress on your heart, the stress on your adrenaline release, your cortisol, your hormones are out of whack. The constant stress of worrying and worrying and worrying over time. Yes, if the anxiety is acute, you won't necessarily die, but if the anxiety is continuous and it's continuous and it's continuous, eventually it will start to damage your body. And my body reacts violently when I have a real bad panic attack. I get extremely high blood pressure, which is bad on my vessels on my heart. It's bad on my heart itself. It's bad on my liver. It's bad on my gallbladder. It's bad on everything because of the pressure that my blood pressure goes up to, pushing the blood through my body. So it is actively damaging my vessels and my little veins. This is not good, guys. And then what makes it worse is I've developed a moderate problem with my ear, which is, Meniere's disease. And I have bouts of dizziness and vertigo, not major vertigo. Luckily, it was bad at first, but then it kind of turned to a mild vertigo. And then now I'm episodic, meaning I don't usually have vertigo unless I'm like completely calm and laying down. But then the vertigo, when I do have it, triggers an actual anxiety attack. So you go from head spinning to anxiety and head spinning, which scares me enough to want to call EMS services. Now, guys, it has been a long time since I've called EMS. The anxiety that I've had since 2007, the panic attacks are stopping. Something's changed. But now I'm having more of a generalized anxiety problem. Now it is more generalized, meaning all the time, every second, never lets up, never surrender. The anxiety never surrenders. It just stays there. It just constant anxiety. And you know what's made me sad today is I was looking in the mirror. I was looking in the hear me out. I was looking in the mirror and I looked at my skin and I was like, what happened to your youthfulness? Your youth in your skin. And I started to see a little bit of wrinkles in my palms and my hands and my feet. And I was like, Jesus Christ, just 10 years ago, my skin was in mint condition. I had no spots on my skin. And now I look at my skin and you start to see spots on your skin and you start to see some wrinkles and it's not perfect anymore. And you're just like, what happened? And you start to realize, you're aging, you're getting older, and it's a realization that I realized today that I'm getting old. Not yet, but I'm close. Just 20 years ago, I was a kid. Just 20 years ago, I was a kiddo. And now I am a middle-aged man, and I realize that most of my life has been filled with anxiety. Every day. It literally it lives with me. And the only time that I seem to not have anxiety is when I'm driving a vehicle is the only time I don't have anxiety because my brain is completely focused on the road. So because of that 100% distraction, I don't have anxiety. Most of the time. But then I realize as I get older, things are going to start happening. I'm going to start developing medical problems. I've already started to develop a really bad medical problem. And what do? You know? As you get older, you're more likely to have a stroke, you're more likely to have a heart attack. And, the panic attacks may be subsiding, but then you start to realize, oh, we're going into the years of territory where real medical emergencies could happen. Passing out, becoming dehydrated, having a heart attack or stroke. I mean, these things become more of a realization as you get older. And then with the predisposition to anxiety, I'm more likely to suffer something like that within the next 20 years. I mean, this is scary to me, that's what scares me a lot. And then you have everything collapsing around the country, the United States of America, which isn't helping my recovery rate. And nothing helps me calm down anymore, guys. Nothing. I mean, literally nothing. I get in my car, I worry that I am going to die. I open the door, I worry that my heart is going to give out by opening the door for some reason. I go up the stairs, I'm worried that my heart's going to give out because I'm walking up stairs. Yeah, walking up a fucking flight of stairs. And my body goes into, I'm going to die. That's how bad my anxiety is. And no matter what I've done, no matter what I've said, no matter what I've done, nothing is just suffer. It's all I do is suffer. Nothing I do, no matter how much therapy, no matter how much I go into nature, no matter if I go fishing, no matter if I go hiking, booting, going in the middle of nowhere, it just doesn't relent. It doesn't release. anxiety just doesn't stop. And then you get your blood work done, and most of it's okay. This constant nagging anxiety will never go away from me. It might go away for you guys because you might not have a predisposition to it. Unfortunately, my family on my side has a predisposition to it. But it's just how come they have not been able to cure anxiety disorders? How come I have to suffer from this for the last I think now 12 13 14 15. Okay, hold on. 12 13 14 15, 16 years. 16 years and counting. I have been suffering from anxiety for 16 years and counting. Do you know how bad that is on your body to suffer from panic attacks for 16 years? I tell you, man, it's a terrible feeling. It's terrible. I wish people that got mad about people talking about this would understand. It literally feels like you're going to die physically, palpitations, heart skipping, even sometimes on irregular rhythms of a heartbeat. Sometimes actually going out of sinus a rhythm in your heart physically because of the adrenaline release. I mean, we're talking heart rates of over 200 beats per minute in younger teenagers and over 150 to 160 beats per minute in adults. I just wish that there was a cure, a real cure for this. You know, I have become so accustomed to just having constant panic attacks and anxiety that I've almost become numb to it. Yeah, I still have it, but I've become numb to the anxiety. And I have tried everything that I could think of. I've tried exercising. I've tried losing weight. I've tried eating better. I tried eating salads. I tried being a vegetarian. I tried being a pescatarian, or whatever the hell that means at one point in my life. I tried not eating meat for half a year. That didn't go well. I developed anemia. And I became extremely dizzy and disoriented from having low iron levels and low folate levels in my body. That didn't work out. I ate salad for a whole year. Nothing but salad and I didn't get better. I started eating protein. I have too much protein in my body now. I had to stop eating protein to get the blood levels down. It's just then there's some people say, oh, you should try valerian root. I've done all that. Nothing works. Nothing works. The only thing that works for me is the medication I take. That is the only thing that works for me. That's it. Nothing else. Nothing else. There is nothing else out there. Talking to people about this helps me short term, but not long term. Talking about this with people that is an everyday sufferer, as an everyday person that suffers from this, every day of my life, as soon as I walk out the door, anxiety. I look at the news, anxiety. I look at Twitter, anxiety. I look at YouTube, anxiety. I turn wrong, anxiety. I think I'm going to die at that moment. All this worrying and worrying and worrying and worrying and worrying. It's got to be bad on the body after so long. It has to be bad on the body after all these years. I'm killing my body, guys. I'm literally dying. My fingernails are brittle. My hair doesn't grow fast no more. Out of nowhere, just stop doing it. You know, I'm just unhealthy. physically, with anemia. How the hell did I develop anemia? All because I'm not eating enough hamburger meat. And then you piss off vegetarians when you eat hamburger meat, even though you have anemia. And they say take iron supplements, but the iron supplements F up my stomach because I have ulcers that I have to get treated still. So it's just like, what do you do? How do you feel normal? What is normal? And then you know what's worse, guys, is I had a mini stroke. I had a mini stroke 2 or 3 years ago. And ever since I've had that mini stroke, or if they say it was a TIA, but it could have not have been. It was a mix between either actually having a TIA and not having a TIA. But ever since that day, I've had issues with a very mild nystagmus. Sometimes it is sporadic. It doesn't happen all the time. It's sporadic, and it doesn't. It's not violent. Like a real bad nystagmus. It's a very mild. Imagine you staring at something and you see it moving constantly, like vibrating. Like imagine being in a big truck, like a diesel truck, and you put your head against the frame of the vehicle, and you could see your eyes vibrating. That's kind of what I suffer with every single day for the last 3 to 4 years. It's every day, guys, and then I get a little bit of vertigo and dizziness because of it. So, how is it that I could suffer so much from just eating food? Let me give an example. I go out and, I drive and drive and drive. I go, let me go eat some In-N-Out burger. Let me go to Whataburger. I don't eat water. I don't eat burgers every day. I eat them like once a week, once every 2 weeks now. And I don't get the big ones. I get the little, just a burger at Whataburger or at In-N-Out. I'll get just like a double double, once a month or something like that. Now I used to go weekly to get the iron levels up. I did get the iron levels up by eating hamburger meat. I did. I got them up. I was mediumly low on iron, and I got those back up. But I'm not feeling better. The only thing that helps me sleep at night, and I'm going to say this with everything in my heart, is my benzodiazepine. That's the only thing that helps me. Nothing else helps. No antidepressant, no antipsychotic medication will ever help me. Benadryl just knocks me out but doesn't cure my anxiety. Isn't that sad that we have to suffer as humans in a general term? That some people have cancer, some people have malignant cancers, some people have heart trouble, some people have edema, some people have osteoporosis, some people have bone pain, some people have back pain, some people get in car accidents and have forever neck and back pains, and they have to take opioids just to try to live in this earth. And then there's people like us, people that have joined my YouTube channel many years ago because of anxiety. People like us suffer so mentally ill, like, mental all the time. And you know what's funny is? Nobody cares. Nobody gives a fuck that anxiety is just the worst thing ever. It is the most it is an invisible killer without being killer or physically killing at the second that it's doing it, but at the end of the day, after almost 16 years of suffering anxiety, it still kills you over time. The stress from anxiety, I can never let it go. I get on an airplane to go to New Jersey and I get anxiety. I had a full blown panic attack on an airplane. And guess what, guys? I kept my fucking mouth shut. Because I knew that if I said something to any of the flight attendants, they might turn the airplane around or land at the nearest airport. So what did I do, Ben? What did I do as a guy that was suffering from a rapid pulse rate? We're talking 160, 170, high blood pressure. I mean, Just imagine the suffering I've experienced. Having to go to a lavatory and take my benzodiazepine under my tongue to hope to God that medication would kick in within 10 to 20 minutes. And then walking around everybody while keeping my mouth shut, while my heart is flying and my pulse is flying and my heart rate is extremely and blood pressure is extremely high, and to pretend that nothing is happening. And then everybody is looking at the person that was sitting next to me was looking at me saying, "Hey, are you okay? You're looking a bit flushed." And I said, "Yeah, I'm fine. I think I'm just a little nervous on the airplane. I get a little bit nervous, especially with turbulence. Lying up a storm." And they noticed that I was flushed, but I didn't say nothing about suffering. I just stayed as still as I could. My heart rate was flying. My pulse rate was flying. My blood pressure must have been really high. And then I take the medication under the tongue in the lavatory. And for some reason, the airplane had like two toilets. And this was the back toilet, and there was like nobody back there because it was a little bit empty on the airplane itself. It wasn't that much. It was like maybe 70% capacity. And I stayed in the lavatory for over 10 minutes or more. Nobody knocked on the door, so I stayed in there. And the pilot didn't say seatbelts, so I just stayed in there. And at maybe about 15 to 16 minutes later, I feel a wave of coldness come over me, and that was because medication working. My pulse rate went back down to the 70s. My blood pressure must have come down because I could feel normal and I could breathe normally again. And then it went down. My pulse rate went into the 60s, and I was able to return to my seat. And then I got all happy and I was all excited and I felt really calm. Even with the turbulence, I was laughing. Just, what kind of fucking illness is this? I mean, seriously. What is this illness? What is it? I just don't understand. Who the fuck created anxiety like this? Like, where it's constant? Last time I checked, anxiety was meant for emergencies only. Our bodies are fucked, man. But guys, that's all I'm trying to say. It's just, who created anxiety, bro? It's like, I understand that you need anxiety for emergencies, but it's like, why all the time? Why? All the fucking time. Why is my body always in fight or flight mode? Why the fuck can't my body chill out? It's unfair. If I had just one wish, I wish that I never had anxiety disorders. That's my only wish. Thank you guys for watching.